have something for Gurupurnima before.
You have something for?
Something to say for Gurupurnima before.
Okay.
Last Thursday being the Gurupurnima and 11 days for one time for many colleges. And just as a token of our appreciation for all the time and effort that is spending, on behalf of all of us, not just me, I would request for a small talk here. And I would like to give it to him, and I would request him not to refuse this. I know I am going against him, it's against his wish, but I would request him not to refuse this, and this is on behalf of everybody here. So,
I will not refuse.
and that also has something to do with the timing stage that we are very great applause. Okay.
Thank you. I will not refuse it, but in general, the best Gurudakshina you can give me, if you want to give me a Gurudakshina, is to learn the knowledge sincerely and to pass it on sincerely to people around you. That is the real Gurudakshina I want. And thank you for this anyway. We start with the prayer. Om Gananantva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspada Anasranvannutibhis Sirasadanam Om Vrishabham Charshaninam Vishwarupamadabhyam Brahaspatim Varenyam Om Tadvishno Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraya Divi Vachakshuratatam. Everybody say along with me 3 times Hare Rama Krishna. Om Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna. I am glad all of you could be here despite the holiday, despite the long weekend. Those who are missing, I am sorry, but you can catch it on the MP3 audio. In the last class we started looking at divisional charts, and to refresh your memory, what I said is, whenever you want to see a particular matter, the first thing you do is, you select the right divisional chart. If you want to see somebody's education, you see D24. If you want to see somebody's career, what is the chart? D10. And if you want to see somebody's parents, does anybody remember? We didn't go through it, but it was in the list I gave. D12. D12 for parents. So like that, depending on what matter, what area of life you want to analyze, first you find the right chart. And then once you find the right chart, you find the right house. For example, for mother, what is the house? 4th house. For father? 9th house. For learning, what is the house? 4th house. For occult learning, what is the house I said last class? 8th house. So like that, depending on the matter that you want to analyze, go to the right chart, go to the right house. And once you go to the right house, you have to see what are the impacts on that house, who influences that house. And I said that the main influences are one, the lord of that house, who is like, the analogy I gave is, the planet is like a boss, a manager who manages a group. And then occupants of the house, the analogy is people who are in a team, who are working on the team. And the other influences are aspects, Grahadrishti, Rasidrishti, and finally Argala, intervention. And I said that the analogy for Rasidrishti is people who have an influence, who always have a particular influence, whether big or small, they have a particular influence on that house. For example, somebody, if you take a technical project, in the analogy I gave, somebody who types who goes to all the meetings and types the excerpts of the meeting, it can be an assistant, office assistant, but that person has a permanent role. So Rasidrishti can be as trivial as that. But it is something that is always there, a particular influence. And Grahadrishti is like desire of a planet to give results relating to a particular house. So that's like somebody's desire to work on that project. And I said Argala is a decisive influence. So decisive intervention. So a planet having Grahadrishti may or may not give the result. Depending on its relationship with the house lord and Karaka, the planet with Grahadrishti may or may not give its result. It only has a desire. If I have a desire to work on a particular project at my company, it doesn't mean I will work. I may or may not be able to work. But Argala is somebody who has a particular role to play, he must play. In the analogy I gave at a company that makes chips, even if the chip is, for example, at my company, we make video compression chips. So all the main technology is video compression technologies, the algorithms, all the hardware, software development for that. But finally, there is one guy who comes and does physical layout of that chip. So that person, whatever he is doing may not be related to the main theme of what the whole company is working on, but that guy will come and do that particular thing. That guy has a decisive role to play. Without him, the chip will not tape out. So similarly, Argala is like an influence of a particular planet in a particular house matter, which must be there, which is very decisive. It will work. And again, it doesn't have to work for the whole life. Argalas and Grahadrishtis give their results in particular periods of life. On the other hand, Rasidrishti is a very permanent influence, which is always there. So these are the basics that I taught. And another thing I mentioned is Karaka. For each matter there is a Karaka. I did not mention in the last class, but in the previous class I mentioned this. And the analogy I gave for Karaka, does anybody remember it? Pardon me?
Project manager.
Yeah. Karaka is like a project manager. If I take the fourth Karaka, for example, Moon for mother, he is like the manager of the project called mother. So, the house lord is basically, like I said, he is like your boss. But Karaka is like the project manager in a particular project. So, I said that the success of any project, just like it depends on the project manager and his or her relationship with all the people involved in the project. Similarly, whether a particular planet who wants to give a result relating to a house gives that result or not depends on its relationship with the Karaka and its owner's relation, its dispositor's relation with the Karaka. Suppose Moon is in Jupiter's house and the Karaka for that house is, let's say, Saturn. Because Saturn does not have a good relation with either Moon or Jupiter, he will not let Moon give full results relating to that house. So you have to look at the relationship between the planet and the Karaka and also the planet's boss, which is the house lord, where the planet is. That house lord and the Karaka. If both the relationships are good, that means the planet will give its result fully. On the other hand, if the relation is not good, the planet, if I want to work on a particular project but the project manager hates me, I will not be able to work on that project. He will not let me come in. Even if I come in, he will not give me important tasks in that project. So this is analogous to that. So these are the basics, yes.
How did you arrive the planet with the Karaka?
The Karakas, I gave a list in one of the previous classes where I said the Karakas for first house is this, the Karaka for second house is this. I gave the Karakas, and in addition, based on the particular matter within each house, for different things there can be different Karakas. For example, for learning things, Mercury is Karaka. For traditional activities, Jupiter is the Karaka. So, for example, for astrology, Jupiter is Karaka. For teaching, Jupiter is the Karaka. For mother, Moon is the Karaka. For father, Sun is the Karaka. Like this, I gave a detailed list. I did not go through it in any class. Physically, I did not speak about it, but I gave it. So whenever we need to find Karakas, if you bring that printout with you, we'll go to that list and find out.
Yes. About this Argalas, say, like second, is it compulsion to have Argalas, like if there is no planet in second, fourth, 11th?
Yeah.
So that means there is no Argala on the particular house.
Yeah.
So that means, like what would happen in that case?
Well, still the house is there. Still the project is there. What? Yeah, but there are Grahadrishtis, Rasidrishtis, and there are planets probably occupying that house. So still there will be some results given by those planets. But there will not be some drastic, important thing going on relating to that house. And there are some concepts where for some houses, if they don't have Argala of a planet, that is not good for that house. That house does not flourish. So there are some examples like that also, which we will see later in a later class. But remember that if there are no Rasidrishti or no Grahadrishti or no Argala in a particular house, still that house will have some results that are given because of that house. And now, today we will look at several examples of Dashamsha. In the last class, we looked at a few nice examples of Siddhamsha, D24. We will just finish off the discussion on D24 and we will pick up D10. D10 is the chart of what? Career. And career is a very, very narrow word. In general, this is the word of your karma. 10th house is the karma sthana. So this is the word, this is the chart where you see the karma that you do. the activities that you perform, what you contribute to the society. So that is the real thing. Even if it's not my career, if I am teaching astrology to all of you, it is my karma. I am doing a particular karma by coming here on Sundays and teaching you. So you will be able to see that in my D10, even though it's not my career. So career is a very narrow word. D10 shows career also, but it basically shows the karma that you are performing in society. And we'll look at some examples. But before that, okay. So before that, let's finish off the discussion on Siddhanta. I will mention one particular thing that I did not mention in the last class. We looked at Pandit Sanjay Rath's chart in the last class. We looked at his Siddhanta. I'm opening Siddhanta in the bottom chart. And for those who are listening to the MP3 and did not listen to the last class, the birth data is August 7, 1963, 9:15:40 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and the longitude of birth is 83 East 58, and the latitude is 21 North 27. Anyway, now coming to the Siddhanta, we looked at the Siddhanta in the last class. We said Jupiter in the 10th house is giving, he's starting the Grahamalika Yoga. We said there is a Raj Yoga in the first house given by Mercury and Venus. We outlined everything. Now what I want to do is I want to introduce one principle that I did not introduce in the last class. And this is something that you don't have to master right now, but you can eventually master this particular principle. When Parasara defined all these divisional charts, he said that each Rasi, for example, take Siddhanta, each Rasi you divide into 24 parts, and the first part in so-and-so Rasi is going to this sign, the second part goes to this sign, third part goes to this sign. Like that he defined the whole map. If a particular planet is in Leo, by looking at the exact longitude and looking at which 24th part it is in Leo, you can find what Rasi that planet will occupy in D24, which is another chart. It can be a totally different sign. And now, in addition to defining the sign occupied by the planet in Siddhanta, Parasara gave another important thing. He, based on which 24th part the planet occupies, he gave some deities, some gods, who rule that particular division. So he said that the first Siddhanta is ruled by so-and-so god in even signs. The second Siddhanta is ruled by so-and-so god. One is ruled by Parasurama, one is by Govinda, one is by Skanda. Like that, he gave the deities, gods who rule that particular Siddhanta. And this is not just for Siddhanta. For all Vargas, all the divisional charts, there is one god. So when you look at a particular planet in a particular chart, you not only have a house that is occupied by that planet, but you also have a god who controls that planet, who is the ruling deity of that planet in that particular chart. It is not there in any of the handouts, because it's a big list.
It is different from the very first class you gave about who is the governing Deva and...
Those are the governing Devas for each planet.
Okay.
And those are fixed for the planet. And here what I am talking about is, if Sun is in, let's say, Gemini, if he is in the first Siddhanta of Gemini, he is ruled by one god. If he is in the second Siddhanta of Gemini, it is another god. So these gods who rule that planet change as the planet moves through the zodiac, moves through each sign from 1 degree to another degree, from 1 minute to another minute. This rulership completely changes. So for example, if you take Dashamsa, oh, this is a bad marker. Pardon me? It will be in? Yeah, it will be 1000. So basically if you take D24, there are 24 gods who rule the 24 parts. If you take D10, there are 10 gods. So similarly for each DN, there are roughly n gods, even though it's not accurate, because in some charts the gods repeat. So I will not give examples here. I will not also go through the list, and I will not give you a handout on this. What I suggest is, there is a book that I mentioned in the first class called BPHS, Brihat Parasara Hora Shastram. This is one book that you should have with you. Even my book is optional. You don't necessarily have to get it, because I will be teaching more than what is in my book here. But this book is a classic. And if possible, you should buy a version that has the Sanskrita shlokas also. Because even if you don't know Sanskrita now, some of you know, and some of you who don't know Sanskrita may be able to learn Sanskrita later. So get a book that has Sanskrita shlokas as well as the translations into English. And if you go to astroamerica.com, right? That's right. Brihat Parasara Hora Shastram.
That is very light.
Yeah?
Yes, black.
Yeah. Yeah, this is black. Yes, that's right. Are you moving today? Okay. The name of the book is Bruhat, means the great. Bruhat Parasara Hora Shastram. And there may be many sites, but one site I can recommend is astroamerica.com. They have a section, if you go to www.astroamerica.com, there is a section on Hindu astrology. If you go to that section and look for Brihat Parasara Hora Shastram, you will find it. There are translations by somebody called G.C. Sharma, Pandit Girish Chand Sharma, and also one translation by somebody called Pandit R. Santanam. These are the two good translations. You can buy either. I personally have Santanam's translation. He was a great scholar, but both of them are good. So you can buy the translation. It comes in two parts. It's a voluminous book, and I think it's $50 or something. It's in that range. It's an expensive book, but this is a classic. This is a Bible of astrology.
There is another bookstore, natarajbooks.com.
Yeah.
He usually
There is a site, natarajbooks.com. Okay.
he usually sells it cheaper than.
I see. So you may try that also, natarajbooks.com. And I don't know if Lakshmi sells them.
I think she does.
Yeah, there is also Sri Jagannath Center has a bookstore. Somebody named Lakshmi Carey, Lynn Carey. She sells the books. She sells some of these books. If you go to srijagannath.org, there is a link for the bookstore. So you can buy from Sri Jagannath Center also. So there are many sources. And also some of you who can't afford it now, you can wait. You don't necessarily need to have the book. Actually, this will work. So, this book, in the chapter on divisional charts, I think Varga Bheda, Jhaya or something. In the chapter on divisional charts, it gives the complete list of all the deities for each Varga. And if possible, I will also try to make a handout and give it to you so that you don't have to buy the book just for this. I will do it in a future class. But the bottom line is actually you don't need that. If you have the software, which some of you already do and some of you soon will, then other people make copies and bring them back to you. I gave copies to 4 people. Then they make 4 copies each. Slowly, everybody will eventually have the software. So, if you have Jagannath Hora software, you can go to, can everybody see the bottom or something blocking? No, you can see the bottom, right? Yeah. If you go here, there is something known as Amsha rulers. In the tab called Basics, there is a sub-tab called Amsha rulers. So, if you go to that Amsha rulers, those are the gods. And if you see here, it says in which Amsha in D60, in whose Amsha in D60. So the chart chosen right now is D60, Shashti Amsha. We want, let's say, Siddha Amsha. So select Siddha Amsha out of the menu, the pop-up menu, and then you will see the gods. So you will see that Pandit Sanjay Rath's Lagna in Siddha Amsha is in an Amsha ruled by Skanda. Who is Skanda? He is Ganesha's younger brother, Kumaraswamy or Palani or Muruga, Subramanya. He is Subramanya. So similarly, you can see that there are different gods who are ruling. Now let's concentrate on Jupiter. Because we concentrated on Jupiter last class, right? We said that Jupiter in the 10th house, that too Pisces, Meena Rashi, which is the sign of Maharshi, the sign of Moksha. In that sign, Jupiter is in one sign, very relaxed in one sign. So I said that karma relating to knowledge, because this is the chart of knowledge, and 10th house is the house of karma. So karma relating to knowledge is very strong, because a planet is in one house, and that karma is related to Jupiterian subjects. It's related to Vedic astrology. It's related to Vedic knowledge, very traditional knowledge, because it is Meena and the planet is Guru. On the other hand, if it is Venus in Libra, for example, the knowledge will be relating to something relating to Venus. It could be relating to some luxuries, something relating to cars or happiness, sensual pleasures, can be related to sex, sexual knowledge. It can be related to other subjects. But because it is Jupiter and Meena, his karma in society is relating to astrological knowledge. And I said that there are argalas from so many planets. For example, we said there is a Grahamalika yoga starting from Jupiter and ending in Mercury and Venus in Lagna. We said there is a Raj Yoga and also blessings of Vishnu and excellent knowledge because of that we said. And we said Mercury and Venus have an Argala on Jupiter. So we said that knowledge is useful in his karma. He uses that knowledge to do good karma in the society. We said all these things in the last class, right? The only additional thing I want to point out in today's class is, now look at Jupiter's guard. Which guard is controlling Jupiter, whatever Jupiter wants to do to this person's knowledge and activities relating to knowledge. If you do that, Jupiter is in whose Amsha? Which God's Amsha? Vishwakarma. So Jupiter is in Vishwakarma Amsha. Now, the thing is, there are 24 gods in this chart and there are so many gods. If you combine all the Vargas, there are hundreds of gods. So I can't possibly give you what is the result for each god. But if you know the Puranas well, if you know your Hindu mythology well, if you know what each god stands for, you can directly apply that knowledge. So to be a good astrologer, you have to know Puranas, you have to know the basic stories at least. That will help you in your astrological pursuit. And now about Vishwakarma, who can tell me, just raise your hand, who can tell me who Vishwakarma is? Okay. Why don't you tell me?
He is a civil engineer.
Okay. He is a civil engineer for gods. Basically, he is the Devasilpi. He is the architect of the gods. Right? So, what does it mean? The karma that he does in society, because it's Vishwakarma, don't say that this guy will be a Silpi. Pandit Sanjay does sculpture, he is a great sculptor. That's not what it means. The karma that he does is ruled by Meena and Guru. It is relating to astrological knowledge. Actually not necessarily astrological knowledge. Based on this chart, some Vedic knowledge, some traditional, sophisticated, sattvic knowledge. That's all you know. Now, what you say based on Vishwakarma is, within that field, within that Vedic field, what is the karma he does is building something. And is it building something for demons or building something for gods? Gods. This is not Maya. Maya is the Rakshasa Silpi. But Vishwakarma is Deva Silpi. So what this gentleman does is building something. The karma is of the nature of building something. He will build something relating to Vedic knowledge. Right now he is building Sri Jagannath Center, the institute that is engaged in Vedic learning, research and bringing this knowledge up. So Vishwakarma does fit with that. Right? Does everybody understand this? So like this, I will not go through the other planets, what those planets mean, etc. So, or let me go through one particular example. Now, Mars. What houses does Mars own? This is the Lagna, and Mars owns these two signs. So what are the houses? Who will tell me the houses owned by Mars? 11th and 6th houses. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scorpio is the 6th house, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So Mars owns the 6th house and 11th house. And let's concentrate on the 6th house. What is the meaning of 6th house? Overcoming the obstacles. 6th house is the house of overcoming obstacles. Now, the planet is Mars. The planet who owns 6th house is Mars. And also who are in the 6th house? Sun and Moon. Right? Is it Krishna Paksha or Shukla Paksha? Are you sure? Yes, Krishna Paksha. Okay. Why I did that is, 6th house is the house of overcoming obstacles. And if you have malefics, I said in a previous class that malefics, natural malefics in those houses are good. They will make you overcome the obstacles with lot of energy. On the other hand, benefits there, that is good for being contented, but it's not good for achieving something. Overcoming the obstacles and achieving something. And here, the two planets who are in the 6th house are Moon and Sun. So I wanted to see if Moon is natural benefic or malefic. I said in a previous class that Moon of Krishna Paksha is malefic and Moon of Shukla Paksha is benefic. So here, this gentleman was born in Krishna Paksha. So Moon is a malefic. He is a Papa Graha. And Sun he is also a malefic planet, Krura Graha. So because there are two Krura Grahas in the 6th house of overcoming obstacles, and the Lord of that house is Mars, aspecting that house. If you look at Mars, he has Graha Drishti on 6th house. He has the 7th house aspect on the 6th house. So 6th house has association with 3 male fixed. So when it comes to the process, comes to the field of learning, field of knowledge, this person, will he get lot of obstacles? And will he overcome those obstacles with lot of vigor and energy? He will. And if you want to concentrate on Mars, the 6th law.
You said they are all malefic, right?
Yeah.
So when they are malefic, we have negative, right?
Malefics are negative for other houses. But for 6th house and 12th house, 3rd house, malefics are good. 3rd house is the house of Parakrama, Vikrama or boldness. 6th house is the house of overcoming obstacles. If there are Krura grahas there, malefics is a relatively, it makes you think that it's bad. Malefic means in English bad. So when I use the English word, it will make you think that they are bad planets. But the Sanskrit word is Krura graha. If you look at my second handout, you will see that I use the word Krura graha, Soumya graha. Soumya means sweet, soft natured. Krura means evil natured. Tempered, short tempered or angry or cruel.
Lot of energy.
Lot of energy. More than energy, cruelty. So Krura literally means cruel. So and also lot of energy. So you need that cruelty and energy to build that boldness, to overcome your obstacles, to destroy the enemies. You need that cruelty. Without cruelty, you can't destroy enemies. So for Papagrahas, 3rd and 6th houses are very auspicious. If somebody has Sun, Mars, Rahu, Ketu and Shani in the 3rd house or 6th house, it is good materially. So here, there are 2 malefics in the 6th house and another malefic owns and aspects it. So because of that, I'll take your question. Because of that, Mars shows that in the process of learning, in the process of spreading knowledge, this person will have lot of obstacles. But will he overcome those obstacles with lot of determination? He will. Especially you will note that one of the planets in the 6th house, he owns which house? Moon owns the 2nd house, but let's concentrate on Sun. Which house does Sun own? 3rd house. So 3rd lord is in the 6th house. The planet who owns determination, he is in the house of overcoming obstacles. So what that means is this person will overcome the obstacles with lot of determination. I'll take your question now.
So my question, I think you answered this a little bit, but my question is, one is number of obstacles and the other thing is overcoming the obstacles.
Right.
So is it not that, are these two things the same, like when we talk about 6th house here, that more the number of malefics in the 6th house means more obstacles, and again more capacity to overcome those obstacles?
Right. Okay. Basically, if there are malefics in the 6th house, it means that the person will overcome obstacles. But it also means that he has obstacles to overcome. That person has a lot of obstacles to overcome. On the other hand, let's say somebody has Mercury and Jupiter in the 6th house, not Sun and Moon and Mars associated. Let's say Jupiter is in one house in the 6th house and Mercury is with him. Let's say somebody has Cancer Lagna and Mercury and Jupiter is Sagittarius. What that means is that person probably doesn't even have obstacles to overcome. So that is also auspicious. But when you have mixed influence, if the house is a malefic house, if the house itself, here the house is Scorpio, which is a malefic house, because Mars owns it. On the other hand, if you have a malefic house, but benefic there, that means there will be obstacles, but the process of overcoming them will be slow. So you have to look at both house and the planet. The planet is consciousness. I said this in previous class. Signs or rashis are situations, and planets are human beings or consciousness. So if the house is a malefic house, that means as far as 6th house is concerned, there is something evil going on. So there are obstacles to be overcome. But if the planet in the 6th house is a benefic planet, that means the person does not want to overcome obstacles. He is contented. So look at planets to see the effort, because effort comes from your consciousness. And to look at the house to see what is the circumstance.
But here again, like Mars lords to 6th house, but is it again in a Dusthana? So does it...
That is Viprit Rajyoga.
Okay.
I didn't want to mention it, but there is a Rajyoga called Viprit Rajyoga. If you look at Dusthanas, what are the Dusthanas? 6, 8 and 12. So if the Lord of a Dusthana goes to a Dusthana, that is a Viprit Rajyoga. So what that Viprit Rajyoga shows is some struggle in the beginning. There is some problem, but it will be overcome. The problem will be overcome and then there will be a great Rajyoga. It gives results better than normal Rajyoga. But it comes with lot of effort. So here, Mars is the lord of 6th house. And where is he? He is in the 12th house. So there is a Viparita Raj Yoga because of that. So what this means is, this person will have lot of struggle, lot of obstacles relating to knowledge, and then he will overcome them. Does it answer your question? Anybody, any other questions? I saw some other hand.
My question is
Yours.
like, the influence of the planet
Yeah?
it also depends on the strength of the planet.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
How do we know?
Let's not try to know that now. Because when you talk about strength, there are so many different kinds of strength. Each has a different meaning. I don't want to give a half-baked answer now. Maybe 3 classes later, we'll talk about the strengths of planets. His question is very valid. He said, just because a planet wants to give a particular result, it may or may not be able to give. Just because I want to work on a particular project, I may or may not be able to work on that project. It depends on my power, my energy, my strength. Not just energy, my strength, how strong I am, how skilled I am. Depending on that, I will give good results to the project I am working on, or I will just mess it up. So you have to look at the strength of the planet also. And there are different kinds of strength for different purposes. And let's do that in a later class. For now, all the planets are strong, they will give their results. Let's look at it that way.
Also the Parshurama being the...
That's what I am coming to that. That's the next point. So we said that this person overcomes the obstacles. But how he overcomes the obstacles? What process he uses? Similar, just like Jupiter, I said, he spreads Vedic knowledge. Why spread? Because it is karma sthana. So he does karma in the society relating to Vedic knowledge. What kind of karma? Is it just teaching or building an institute? What kind of karma relating to Vedic knowledge? We saw from Vishwakarma. Similarly, let's look at the deity of Mars now. The 6th Lord. We know that he will overcome obstacles. But how does he overcome them? In a sweet way or in a harsh way? What is the way? What is the manner? To see that, you should see which god controls Mars. Which is the god? Parashurama. Who is Parashurama? Not Krura, but he is a Rajasic avatar of Vishnu. Which is the planet associated with that? Venus. And I gave, in one of the previous classes, I gave the analogy. I said why Venus is associated with Parashurama, and I said that Parashurama within us, Vishnu takes avatara as Parashurama within us. When our sadhana becomes mature and we have that rapture, that happiness. I said that Parashurama is the rapture. He's the rapture or happiness, the permanent happiness born from the burning fire of sadhana within us. Jaman Agni, burning fire of fire within us. So, the concept you will have of Parashurama is somebody who's slaying all the Kshatriyas, who's angry, who's thirsty for blood, etc. Unfortunately, that is a wrong concept of Parashurama. He is not a demon. He is an avatar of Vishnu. So, I said that in the analogy that I gave, it is the spiritual rapture within us that comes from a long burning desire of sadhana. And I said that happiness cuts off all the negative qualities within us like jealousy, ego. All these are the Kshatriyas within us. So all those qualities, Kshatriya qualities within us are burnt off when that rapture, spiritual rapture comes within us. So Parashurama is the spiritual rapture. So here don't look at Parashurama as killing. Because the 6th Lord is in Parashurama's Amsa, what that means is the process of overcoming obstacles is done with that happiness. But that happiness is not pure sattvic happiness. It is rajasic, energetic happiness. So by overcoming these obstacles, he will derive that happiness, that rapture. He does it with a sense of purpose and sense of happiness and sense of, he has the determination. So there is a happiness, a rapture built within that person by overcoming these obstacles. That's what you should look at. That's what you should get from Parashurama. But the bottom line is, because this is an aggressive deity, Parashurama, and not some other god. What this means is, he is very strong, very determined in overcoming the obstacles. That is what it means. So like this, you can look at all the planets and look at the gods who are controlling the planet and try to understand it. And if you try to look at some charts and if you don't understand, and take up more examples later, but this being a slightly advanced concept, I will leave it here. But the bottom line is, read your Puranas carefully. You should know, when I say Vishwakarma or Maya, you should know who they are. If you don't know who a particular god is, you basically cannot. You cannot really imply, you cannot correlate. You will basically be shooting in the dark. And now, let's start looking at Dashamsa. Dashamsa is the chart of Keri. Now let's look at, I will open an example. Now I am changing from Siddhamsa, I am changing to Dashamsa. From now we will look at Dashamsa. Similarly in the gods also, I will select, in the Amsa rulers, I will select the Dashamsa. Now, this chart, we already did this chart once, I don't know if you remember it, but I will give the birth data just for those who are listening to the audio. Because we don't have several people, there will be a lot of our own people apart from people in the outside world. So I'll repeat the data so that they can make the chart and look at it. The birth data is November 1, 1973, 4:07 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time. The longitude is 74 East 51 and the latitude is 12 North 54. And I'll go back to Amsa rulers. Now, we looked at this chart earlier. First, does this chart belong to somebody very successful or is it an average chart? Is there a Rajyoga? Look at 10th Lord. The Lagna is Simha Lagna. Where is the 10th house from there? 12, 11, 10. So, yeah, Mars is in the 10th house, but who owns the 10th house? Venus. Venus owns the 10th house. And where is Venus? Which house? He is in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. He is in the 5th house. So 10th Lord Venus, the 10th house of karma is ruled by Venus. He is in the 5th house of following. 5th house is the house of following and your abilities. So he is in the house of following, house of fame. And who is he with? Jupiter. And what is special about Jupiter? He is in his own house. That too, Mula Trikona. Jupiter is in his Mula Trikona. So he will do whatever results he has to give for that house. He does with a sense of purpose because he is in his own office. He'll take care of his office duties very well. So Jupiter will give lot of fame, lot of following, lot of popularity to this native. And the conjunction of the 5th Lord and 10th Lord, is it a Rajyoga? Yes. Why? Because 5th house is a Trikona and 10th house is a Kendra. So because a Kendra Lord and a Trikona Lord are together, the two in the 5th house in a Trikona, this gives a great Rajyoga. And I said that Trikonas, Kendras show effort, they are ruled by Vishnu, and Trikonas are ruled by Lakshmi, they show blessing. Because these two planets are in a house of blessing, the 5th house, what this means is, things will relatively come easily. This Rajyoga will function relatively easily. Compared to this, if there is a Rajyoga in the 8th house, it comes after a lot of hard work. The results are given after a lot of hard work. If there is a Rajyoga in a quadrant, like for example 4th house or 10th house or 7th house, again the results are given but with some effort, not struggle. 8th house will show struggle. Rajyoga in 8th house will come after struggle. Rajyoga in a Kendra will come after effort. There is a difference between effort and struggle. Rajyoga in the 5th house comes easily, just as a blessing, as a fruit from the good karma of past life. Just as Lakshmi is blessing to you, it will just come easily to you. So this person will become very popular, very successful, and it will come so easily to her. Just as a blessing, just based on her birth, just based on who she is, because of her past good activities, past karma, past life good karma. And now, what is the nature of the career? More than Mars in the 10th house, the 10th Lord Mars is real, 10th Lord Venus is really strong. Venus is in one house. Venus is in a Rajyoga with another planet. So Venus will really dominate over Mars. So the career will be given not by Mars but by Venus. So what is the kind of career? Venus gives? Entertainment. It can be a show person. And we said that this chart belongs to? Yes, you remember. This is the Dashamsa of Aishwarya Rai, Indian actress, Aishwarya Rai. And now, let us apply the gods thing. I said that each Varga is ruled by a god. Apart from a planet being in a Rasi in that Varga, it is ruled by a planet, ruled by a deity. So before we go through this list, let me tell about Dashamsa deities in more detail, because Dashamsa is a very important chart. And there are fewer deities, not 24 but just 10. I will roughly give you the meanings of those. Yes, Kiran?
question because whenever I see Venus and Jupiter together, it always pops up. Jupiter is his own house, and he is in strength here, but Venus is enemy.
Inimical house, yes.
So, what is the decision that we need to adopt here? You're talking about even though you're talking about Tesla being in the fifth house.
Yeah.
But
There is a Rajoga, but the planet giving Rajoga is in inimical house. So the 10th Lord is going into an enemy's house. So basically what that means is, this is not a favorable thing. Right away one thing you can say is, because Venus, even though he has a great Rajoga, he is not in own sign. So Venus is not really happy or is in a good state. There is something negative about it. What that means is, in the karma, the person may not be comfortable with the karma. There can be some disappointments with the karma. It's not a very auspicious thing. If the same Venus was giving Rajoga with Mercury, for example, instead of Jupiter, in a sign of Mercury or Venus or Saturn, because all those three are friends, that Rajoga will be even strong. The person will be not only doing good karma, but he will be happy about it. For example, in my Dashamsa, which I may open later, in my Dashamsa, the 9th and 10th Lord Mercury and Venus have a Parivartana, so I have a Rajoga too. But that is given by Mercury and Venus, friends, who are in each other's houses. So that Rajoga, I do good dharma, I follow my dharma in my karma, and I do it happily. I'm not uncomfortable about it. But this lady, even though she is very popular and very well-known actress, she may not be enjoying it fully also. There are so many other things you can say, but one thing you can right away say is, if the planet involved in Rajoga are enemies, they are not good friends, the Rajoga will give its results, but there will be something undesirable associated with that Rajoga. It's not really a pure Rajoga. But still it is good for material success. Who knows if she is happy or not? When acting in the movies with all the following she has, who knows if she is fully happy? She may not be happy, and she may not be doing it with that satisfaction. But it doesn't matter, she is popular. That's what this Rajoga shows. And now,
one other question. When you say material success, shouldn't we actually be saying it from the
Arudha? We don't know Arudha yet, so don't talk about it. This guy always jumps ahead. Okay, the gods of the Samsa. The gods are in an earth sign. When you divide a Rashi into 10 parts of 3 degrees each part is ruled by a god, and those gods are the Dikpalakas. The first part is ruled by Indra, who rules the eastern direction. When you do Satyanarayan Vratam, you put all the 8 Dikpalakas, Ashtadikpalakas in the 8 directions, right? And some of you who do the 10 Dikpalakas, you probably also put the Adhodik and Urdhvadik, Brahma and Ananta also on the 2 directions of the Kalasha in the middle of the Puja Sthala. But some people only use Ashtadikpalakas. But the bottom line is, I hope you are familiar with the Dikpalakas, the 8 rulers of the directions. So each direction is ruled by Indra. He rules the first Dashamsa in an earth sign. And the next one is Agni, who rules the Agneya. And the next one is Yama, who rules the southern direction. Then Nirriti, she rules the southwestern direction. And then western direction is by Varuna. And the next direction is Vayavya, the northwestern direction, that is by Ketu, not Ketu, that is by Vayu. And then the northern direction is ruled by Kubera. And finally northeastern direction is ruled by Ishana. These are the gods. In addition, the next 2 gods are 9th and 10th direction are also there. They are not the material directions, but they are in the 3-dimensional plane. These 8 directions are in the 2-dimensional plane. In addition, there is Adhodik and Urdhvadik. Adhodik is by Brahma and Urdhvadik is by Ananta. So these are the 10 directions. And these are the Dasha Dikpalakas in the 3-dimensional space. And what these Dikpalakas, in the art sign, the 10 parts are ruled by these 10 gods in this order. In even signs, it is opposite. It starts from Ananta, goes as Ananta, Brahma, Ishana, Kubera, etc. And now, you have to understand what each god stands for. Then you will understand, just like Vishwakarma and Parashurama, you will understand what they mean. But I will go through the 10. Indra, he shows, what does he show? Can somebody take a guess? Who is Indra? God of the, he is the ruler, king of the gods. So that means power. If a planet is in Indra's Dashamsa, it shows power. What about Agni? Agni is the transformation. Agni is physical fire, is the fire that you see. But also there is fire within us. For example, when you digest some food, even though there is no physical fire, there is a transformation going on within your stomach. That is called Jatharagni. When you understand what I am teaching, I am saying words. I am saying words. These words I am saying. And from that you understand what it means in your brain. So that process of understanding, it is again another kind of Agni. So there are so many different Agnis in our body. And not just our body, but in the whole universe. Agni is not just physical fire, but it is transformation. Coming up with a new thing from the old thing. So planets in Agni Samsa, they basically come up with new things and lead to transformation. It can be engineers who design things. It can be legislators who come up with legislations. People who design things, who come up with new things, who transform things. That is Agni. And then the next direction is Yama. What is Yama? What does Yama stand for? Death. That's the standard interpretation. But really Yama is Yama Dharmaraja. He's not just somebody who kills people. That's not Yama's job. Yama upholds Dharma. And killing is a process of upholding Dharma. He just doesn't kill. He gives punishment to what you do. Punishment for what you do. So it's not just killing. Actually killing is done by somebody else. Yama takes care of what happens after killing. He's the leveler. He does Dharma. He follows Dharma. He upholds the ultimate Dharma of the universe. So planets in Yama Samsa, they uphold Dharma. So it can be, but in a cruel way. In a ruthless way. So it can be policemen, it can be lawyers, judges, all these people. People basically associated with law enforcement, can be soldiers also. They are doing their Dharma and then they are killing people. So killing, upholding Dharma, these are the things. And then, but again, let's not generalize and think that just because a planet is in Yama's or Dashamsa, don't think that it will be a soldier. For soldier, the planet is Mars. If Mars is not involved, don't think that it will be a soldier. What it means is, whatever he does it ruthlessly. He just follows his Dharma. It may be a teacher. It may be a lecturer. There can be Jupiter in the 10th house. So because of that, it may be a teacher. But if that Jupiter is in Yamamsa, he will teach and he will do his karma ruthlessly. He will punish his students if they don't do their homework. He will be very strict. That's what you should understand. So you never get the career from the deity. Get the career from house, planet and planets influencing it. But in what way? What is the manner in which that particular activity is done? You see those further details from the deity. And then after Yama, who is the god? Nirriti. Nirriti is, she is a demoness. So what, she is the mother of who? Bhaya, Mahabhaya and Mrityu. She is the daughter of Himsa, according to the scriptures. Himsa means violence personified. So she is the daughter of violence personified. And her children are Bhaya, fear, Mahabhaya, terror, and then Mrityu, death. So she basically comes from violence and she gives fear and terror.
So what is the name again of that?
Nirriti.
Nirriti?
Nirriti.
You call it Nairiti, right?
Nairiti is the name of the direction. Because Nirriti's direction is called Nairiti. It's a tough one to write. It is basically this in Sanskrit. Nir, and to Ra you have this matra, like in Krishna. Nirriti. So there are several things given by Nirriti. Nirriti is basically, you know that in Vastu, the direction, Nirriti direction is ruled by Rahu in Vastu, in the standard Vastu. So this is basically like Rahu. Nirriti is the demoness who became one of the Ashtadik Palakas. She is a Palika, not Palaka. So Nirriti shows Rahu kind of activities, demonly activities. If somebody is engaging in demonly bad activities, that is Nirriti. And it also shows challenging something that is already there and doing and breaking the barriers and going further. That can also be shown. Innovation, that can also be shown by Nirriti. Innovation, not respecting tradition, and also demon-like behavior. That is Nirriti. And then, what is the next direction? Varuna. Varuna is, in the scriptures, Varuna is the god of patience. He is the god of oceans. That is how he has been portrayed in the Vedas. So basically, Varuna's Amsha shows patience. things that need patience and lot of perseverance and hard work. And also in a material gross sense, Varuna can also show business, foreign business because fees, overseas business, etc. But that is a very gross interpretation. A more fine and subtle interpretation would be Varuna shows patience, perseverance, activities that need that. And Vayu, what does Vayu stand for? Vayu is the wind god of energy. So Vayu, if a planet is in Vayu's Dashamsha, that shows gaining strength. This is basically providing strength, gaining strength and strengthening some part of the society.
He is the father of Hanuman, right?
He is the father of Hanuman. Right. Vayu is the father of Hanuman and Bhima, Bhimasena of Mahabharata. So he gives energy, he produces energy. Just like he gave birth to Hanuman, he produces that energy. So this is, for example, let's say somebody is working for the downtrodden of the society. He is working to strengthen them, give them energy. That is Vayu. There has to be some influence of Vayudeva, because he is energy, building power, building strength. That is Vayu. And Kubera, everybody knows who Kubera is? He is the? Yeah, he is the giver of money. So he shows things relating to wealth. If you see somebody's Dashamsha full of planets owned by Kubera, full of planets in Kuberamsha, that person will be very money-minded. If a particular planet in Kuberamsha, whatever activity it shows, money is the main guiding force behind that. Basically, these planets show the guiding force behind a particular planet, all these deities. So Kubera shows money. And finally, Ishana. What does it, not finally actually, we have two more. What does Ishana show? Ishana, who is Ishana? He is a form of Isha, Shiva. He is a very auspicious form of Shiva. So he governs auspiciousness. He is Mangaladayaka. He gives knowledge. Ishana Sarva Vidyanam. That is the sloka we read, right? Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. So he gives all knowledge. He gives very auspicious results. And he also shows religiousness. If you look at directions, Ishanya is opposite Nairiti direction. Nairiti is ruled by Rahu and Ishana by Mercury. They are in Vastu. They are opposite directions. So just like Nairiti shows demonliness and irreligiousness, Ishana shows religiousness, purity and good knowledge. So these are what Ishana shows. And finally Brahma and Ananta. Brahma shows Adhodik, digging. And Ishana, Ananta shows rising up, going up. So these two are, what these two directions show is, these are not material directions, that's two-dimensional directions. These are three-dimensional directions. So because we are expanding into other dimension, what these two planets show is exploring further. In the case of Brahma, it is through digging, the Rajasic activity of digging. So this can be researchers. People who want to find the secrets of the universe, and they believe that they can do it by digging with a spade. They keep digging, see what is there, dig what is there. And they think that they can find anything like that. So this is the Rajasic exploration of the universe. This is research. And Ananta is again, he is also going in the third dimension, exploring further, not being limited to this two-dimensional plane that you are on, but exploring the other dimension, but this is through rise, not through digging. So this shows, Ananta shows spiritual rise. So Ananta shows spiritual activities. Understanding how this universe works, not by experiments like in the case of Brahma, but by rising spiritually. So that is Ananta. So now let us see some examples. Let me type the password again. Okay. In Aishwarya Rai's case, who is the Dashamsha deity of Venus? Indra. So from Venus being the 10th lord, you see that this is some kind of entertainer. And from Venus being in Indramsha, what kind of entertainer? A very powerful, somebody who commands lot of respect, commands lot of authority. Because that is Indra, Mahendra, the Devanatha. So because of that, this person is not only an entertainer, but a well-known entertainer. She is a queen basically. Indra is the king, so she is a queen-like entertainer. That is the image that she has anyway. So that is what this shows. And now The other planet involved in Raj Yoga, Jupiter. Jupiter and Venus are the planets in Raj Yoga. So let's look at both of their dasamshas. What does that mean? Kubera. So the following, Jupiter shows the following she has, the fifth lord in the fifth house. So that is the following and popularity. And because the planet is in Kubera Amsha, whatever popularity, whatever following she has, the focus of that is money. She wants to make money from that following. Because more people like her, she will say, I want more money. Then only I will make the movie. Because I have so much following. So the way the following works is, it will increase her money. It will make her money-minded. Actually, whether it increases money or not, you see from the second house. Second house is the house of money. So what I said is not entirely accurate. From the fifth lord being in Kubera Amsha, all you can find out is the way she looks at her own abilities and what results from that ability, popularity, following, etc. is, I can make more money. So there is money-mindedness in looking at her popularity. That's all it means. Whether she makes that money or not, you see from something else. So does it make sense? And what is really important is, what strikes out is, the 10th lord being in 5th house itself is good for giving lot of popularity. Because 5th is the house of popularity. And in addition, that planet being in Indra's Amsha, that enforces it further. So, if you look at this chart, assuming that the Lagna in Dasamsha is accurate, even if you don't know this is Aishwarya Rai's chart, you can say with confidence that this will be somebody who is very influential because of Indra Amsha.
Narasimha,
Yeah.
Can we look at her second house in D10 itself and
Yeah. Yeah.
and then so Saturn is in Niriti.
Yeah.
So how does that translate to her making a lot of money?
Okay.
In her,
Well, again, actually, money is not even second house in Dasamsha.
yeah,
Money is from which chart? Does anybody remember?
for D2.
D2. Hora chart. That is the chart of money. So this is not really the chart of money. In D10, what you see from the second house is, what is it? Resources. 10th house is the karma sthana and second house is the seed of Artha Trikona. This is the resources you have. The resources used in your karma. So, the planet involved is Shani, an evil planet. And Shani is it Nirriti you said? Yeah. Shani is a Nirriti Samsha, the demon, the irreligious Samsha. So, there is some irreligiousness associated with what resources she employs in her karma. Right? And secondly, what houses does Shani own? From Simha Lagna, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 and 7 are the houses owned. And out of them, which house is really strong? 7th house, because there are 2 planets there. So, mainly 7th house results and secondly 6th house results. Those are the resources that Saturn has at its disposal. So, 7th house is what? Your relations, desire, and also the relations, the people that you know. The 7th house itself is relations. But if you look at the 7th lord, that is, what did I say in the last class? The lords of houses are people. So, the 7th lord will be people that she interacts with.
But is that the case in Dashamsha too? Like 7?
Yeah, any chart. The 7th lord will show the people that you interact with. This is not entirely accurate. When we come to Arudhas, you will see that this is not entirely accurate. But this is basically how you interact with people.
7th house is house of interaction.
7th is the house of interaction, yes. And the 7th lord is how you interact with people. Because lords are always the consciousness. The house is the circumstance and the lord of the house is the consciousness as applied to that particular house. So 7th lord will show how you interact with people. So the way she interacts with people and also the way she interacts, she deals with her enemies. Because Saturn owns the 6th house also. So those influence her second house. So those are a main resource. The way she interacts with people, all her relationships, those are a main resource for building her karma. She uses that as a resource. And there is something Saturnine about that thing, that relationships, etc. And Saturn is in Vriddhi Samsha. So this is not really auspicious. This suggests some negative things about her. And let's not say that publicly. So you would probably have understood. Okay. That is what that shows. Shani in the second house. Okay. Now let me go through another example, another similar example. so that you really understand it, and then I'll move to another kind of example. And this will also enforce another important point. Okay, look at this chart. For those who are listening to the audio, the birth data is July 9, 1956, 11:17 a.m. The time zone is 7 hours west of GMT, 7 hours west of GMT, and the longitude is 122 degrees west, 1 minute, and the latitude is 37 degrees north, 58 minutes. Is it what? Why South Africa? 122 west. West coast of US. Somewhere on the west coast. So, west coast, and where is the latitude? 37 degrees. So, yeah, west coast. Northern California, maybe. I'm guessing. So, somewhere in that area. Okay, anyway. So, this gentleman, this is a gentleman, this is a man, not a female chart. Now, we want to say something about his career. What are the houses for career? The actual house is 10th house, Karmasthana. But we said earlier that Artha Trikonas, all the Artha Trikonas can show your career. The second house is the resources you have for doing your karma. 6th house is how you overcome obstacles using those resources. And the 10th house is the actual karma that you have done in the society. So all the three houses, 2, 6 and 10 are important for career. In a particular chart, if you see that the 6th house is stronger than the 10th house, actually the process of overcoming obstacles is the main thing. That decides his karma. So, take the strongest Artha Trikona, that will be what the person does. So sometimes even though 10th house may show some other activity, if the 6th house really strikes at you, if it is really strong, that can show the person's karma. Because he spends all his time overcoming obstacles. What kind of obstacles is he overcoming? Based on it, you know what kind of karma he is doing. So here, do you agree? Okay, let's look at the Artha Trikona first. What are the houses? This is the first house. And second house is Gemini. The 6th house is 3, 4, 5, 6. Libra. And the 10th is 7, 8, 9, 10. So the Trikonas, Artha Trikonas are this, and this. Which is strong? Which really dominates? 6th house. Why? First thing is it has so many planets. But not only so many planets. There are planets that matter. Why? Because Venus he is Libra Lord itself. He is the Lord of 6th house of overcoming obstacles. He is in that house. Who is the other planet? Out of other planets, the another planet that strikes out is Mercury. What is special about him? He is the 5th Lord, forget it. We are not talking about Rajogas. He is the 2nd Lord. So, the Lord of 2nd and 6th, 2 Artha Trikonas. The Lord of 2 Artha Trikonas are in one of the Artha Trikona houses. So, if you see that out of the 3 houses that form a Trikona, 2 lords are joining in one house, one of those 3 houses, that house will really dominate. So, as far as his Purushartha of Artha is concerned, Dharma you should look at Dharma Trikona. Kama you should look at Kama Trikona, Moksha you should look at Moksha Trikona. But for Artha Trikona, the process of serving his purpose in the society, the 6th house really dominates. So you should look at this person's 6th house to see what career he has. So remember this, never always blindly go to the 10th house. Sometimes you may have to go to the 6th house. So keep this in your mind. And even when 10th house shows the karma, the 6th house still shows what kind of obstacles he overcomes, whether he overcomes obstacles or not. So 6th house is always important, and in some cases it is more important. And now another thing, does this person do business or is he always employed? The standard thumb rule I gave you in another class is 6th house being strong means working for somebody, 7th house being strong means business. Why did I say that? Because 6th house is Artha Trikona and 7th house is Kama Trikona. 7th house is the house of desire and relationships. So if somebody has strong desires and he has a lot of relationships, he will be a businessman. So that is the logic. But here you will see that, who is the 7th Lord? Mars. 7th Lord is Mars. So that Mars is in the 6th house along with Venus. So because the 7th Lord is going into 6th house, even though 6th house is strong, for all you know this person could be in business. But even if he is in business, even if this person is engaged in business, he will be working so hard. Some people, even if they have a business, they will be physically working so hard to take care of that business. So in that person's case, you will still see the 6th house being strong. So irrespective of whether this person has business or whether he is in service, he is always working hard, working hard, working hard. He is always struggling, not struggling but overcoming obstacles, overcoming obstacles. That's what this person is doing. Now, what kind of career can somebody venture a guess? Out of all the 4 planets, Mercury, Jupiter, Mars and Venus, which planet is strong? Venus. Why? Good guess. But why? He is in own house, and that too, Mula Trikona. Out of Taurus and Libra that Venus owns, the Mula Trikona of Venus is Libra. So what that means is, whatever overcoming obstacles that Libra stands for, he will do it beautifully. A planet in Mula Trikona is akin to somebody who is in his office. So just like in the house, you may not take care of what you have to take care of. You may have to mow your lawn, but you sometimes, if you are lazy, you will say, well, I'll do it next week. What's the hurry? There will be little more grass, but I can cut it next week. So you will not be duty-minded. You will be relaxed in house. So a planet in one house is akin to a planet in a person in one house. The person will be relaxed. Similarly, planet will be relaxed. But planet in Mula Trikona, that is like somebody who is in office. So it will be duty-minded and do his job. So here Venus will do his job and make this person overcome obstacles with lot of zeal. Zeal, because Venus also shows passion. Yes, your question?
What about it's in retrogression, right?
Yeah?
Does it matter?
It matters. What retrogression shows is, in general, retrogression means a state of having a strong desire. A planet which is Vakri, which is in retrogression, shows strong desire from past life. That is what the planet shows. There are also other dictums which I will not go through right now. But remember that the planet in Vakra Sthana, it is like somebody with a strong desire that was unfulfilled in the last life. So that is even, especially in a house of obstacles. In some other house it may be bad. But in the house of obstacles it is even better, because Venus is bringing to this person's karma a strong desire, a leftover from the past life. So there will be a lot of zeal relating to overcoming obstacles. So this person will overcome obstacles with a lot of zeal. There is some missionary kind of zeal, because this is an unfulfilled thing from the past life. Now, so Venus, again, do you think it will be some entertainer? Yes. But unlike Aishwarya Rai, who has things given to her on a silver platter, because the Raj Yoga was occurring in 5th house in her case. So everything comes in a silver platter, just based on how she looks. Everything just came naturally to her. She didn't have to work very hard. But this person, because this is 6th house, this gentleman works very hard. Things do not come to him with ease. He has to work hard, but he likes it. He has a desire to work hard. Unfulfilled desire from past life. So he does. Now, look at Venus Amsa. So this is an entertainer who works very hard. Very hard-working entertainer. Very committed entertainer. Very disciplined entertainer. Now, what is the Amsa ruler of Venus? Which god? Indra again, just like Aishwarya Rai. So will it be just a simple entertainer, or will it be somebody very influential? He will be somebody very popular, not more than popular. Indra is not popular. People may hate Indra, but he has authority. So I'm not saying people hate this person, but bottom line is, you can't say that from Indra. A planet being in Indra Amsa doesn't mean the person will be very popular. It only means he will have authority. The person can decide how things are done. He will have the authority just like Indra. So this is a very authoritative, this is a very successful entertainer who has a lot of power and authority with him. This chart belongs to Tom Hanks, the Hollywood actor. Just like the chart would suggest to you, he's a very hardworking actor. Nobody probably works as hard as Tom Hanks. Even though he doesn't have to work hard, he's so talented, so powerful. Still he insists on doing something different every time and working very hard. He puts his soul into whatever he does. And this is most likely an unfulfilled desire from the past life, shown by Venus. And if you look at what Venus shows in his Shashtamsa, you can say more. I said that Shashtamsa is the chart of past life. If you see what Venus is showing in the past life, you can get more insight. But let's not do that now, because I have not explained this chart, and Lagna in Shashtamsa may be wrong. I only know that Lagna in Dashamsa is right. Okay. So does it make sense?
But the sun in 10th house,
Yeah.
is it like sun represents the soul, right? Not introspecting like that.
Sun does not necessarily represent the soul. Sun represents, again, Sun is the planet of politics. He is the planet of king. Sun is the Naisargika Atmakaraka, but that has nothing to do. When you are looking at the Dashamsha, the Naisargika Karakas, that doesn't really have a big role to play. If you want to see what his soul is, there is something known as Atmakaraka. Okay, I will not go through that. Actually, Venus. Oh God. Okay. If you want to see what the person's soul is there Atmakaraka replacement? Should not be. Okay. Yeah, there is not. Good. So it is Venus. Okay. There is somebody known as Atmakaraka. Sun is in general, he is the Atma of the whole Vishwa. He is Vishwatma. A specific person's Atma, his individual soul, is shown by a planet known as Atmakaraka. He is computed differently for each chart. I will go through that computation 2 classes later. But for now, you see that these Karakas are given by the software. So you don't have to know how they are computed. For this person, look here, AK, that stands for Atmakaraka. So for this particular person, Venus is the Atmakaraka. So his soul is shown by Venus. So that makes it even stronger. So he puts his soul into this particular thing, overcoming obstacles relating to entertaining people. So that is what you would say. Now let me look at another example. Let us look at one more example. This chart, the birth data is November 3, 1933, 3:40 p.m. Indian Standard Time IST, 87 East 32, 23 North 55. So if you make the chart, go to the Dashamsha, those who are listening to the audio, make the chart and go to Dashamsha and look at the Amsha rulers. Okay, now, more than Amsha rulers, first let's look at the chart itself. Now, what kind of career does this person have? Let's look at the, let's look at the 10th house first. 10th house has 2 planets. So let's concentrate on the 10th house. This is Lagna, Gemini Lagna. The 10th house is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the 10th house is Meena. So it is relating, Meena is it a Sattvic sign or a Rajasic sign or a Tamasic sign? It's a Sattvic sign. So something Sattvic. And who are the planets? Mars and Sun. Do you see anything special about Mars and Jupiter here? Is there something going on with them? Are they exchanging houses or something? Does anybody see that?
The Lord of Scorpio, Mars is in this place.
Meena. And the Lord of Meena is in? Lord of Meena, Jupiter is in? Scorpio. So, between Scorpio and Meena, is there an exchange of houses going on? Yes. And if there is a Parivartana, I am not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but if 2 planets are exchanging their houses, they will give results of the other planet. If Mars is in Jupiter's house, she will try to behave like Jupiter. If Jupiter is in Mars' house, he will try to behave like Mars. So practically this is not Mars and Sun in the 10th house. Practically this is Jupiter and Sun in the 10th house. I think I mentioned it earlier. I said that the analogy I gave is, if I go to New Jersey and I live in Narayan's house. By the way, for those of you who haven't met, the person in blue shirt there, that is Narayan Iyer. He is the president of the Jagannath Center USA, the US branch of the Jagannath Center, and he is also a very learned astrologer. He is a Jyotish Guru, that's the Jagannath Center, and he teaches at New Jersey. And he is a software engineer in New Jersey. So if I go to New Jersey, and if I am staying in Narayan's house, and if Narayan comes to Boston and stays in my house, I will try to be like Narayan. The way Narayan takes care of that house, I will try to be like him, emulate him, so that I don't use my style to spoil his house. I will try at least. I may not succeed fully, but I will at least try. Similarly, at my house, he will try to be like me, take care of the house the way I do. If I mow my lawn every day, he will try to mow my lawn every day. If I go to his house, he keeps things in a very clean way, I will try to keep them the same way. So similarly, when there is an exchange between planets, they will behave like the other planet. So, in Meena here, in the 10th house, the planets are Sun and Jupiter, not Mars. Who is strong? Which planet dominates?
Jupiter.
The planet who dominates is Jupiter. So, what kind of career does he have? What does Jupiter show? Intellectual, good, but what more? Can it be a judge? Can it be a judge?
Spiritual.
Spiritual? Jupiter can be spiritual. Can it be a judge? I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but Jupiter shows judges, teachers, basically professions that get lot of respect. Not respect of power and authority, that will be Sun. Sun is the king of planets. So sun is like, if there is sun, that will be somebody you will fear. Somebody you look at like king. It can be a political leader. But Jupiter is also somebody you respect, but as a Brahmin, not as a king. So this will be somebody like a priest or somebody that you hold with respect. So it can be teachers, lecturers, professors, it can be judges, lawyers, it can be priest of a temple. So all these are possible careers because of Jupiter there.
Does it also mean that this person would face lots of obstacles and would overcome?
Yes,
6 and 10?
because there is an exchange between 6th Lord and 10th Lord. One is a Kendra, the other one 6th house is obstacles. So this person will do his karma after overcoming lot of obstacles. And another thing, the planet that Jupiter is joining, which is that planet? Sun. And which house the Sun owns? Third house. From Gemini, Sun is 1, 2 and 3. So Sun owns Simha, which is the third house of determination. So Sun brings to the table, he is in the 10th house, what he brings with him is determination. And determination relating to some, Sun is a political planet. So determination relating to some politics, etc. So he will be engaged in a Jupiterian activity, and there will be lot of politics, etc. going around him, and he will bring lot of determination. He will be determined in the matter of that politics. And let's look at the Amsha rulers now, the gods.
Before we move on, sir, when you said...
We are not moving on, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, yeah. About the exchange,
Yeah.
you said that it is like I living in your house or
Yeah.
something. But again, is it closer to planet being in own house too? Like, can we take
It is close, but not really.
Okay.
It's not fully like Jupiter is in Meena, but it is maybe 70-80% he gives those results. Okay?
Where is Jupiter from in this case?
Because Jupiter, because of the exchange with Mars, Jupiter behaves as if he is here. In other words, Mars behaves like Jupiter in Meena. And for Jupiter, Meena is strong because it is his own house. If you look at the one of the first handouts where I gave the own houses of planets, Jupiter owns Meena and Dhanus, Sagittarius and Pisces. Okay. Now, so because of Jupiter, the person can be a teacher also, right? So actually this person is a teacher, he is a professor. And now what kind of activity is he engaged in? So let's look at the Amsha rulers. Jupiter is in Nirriti Amsha. So, is this somebody spiritual? Somebody said spiritual earlier. Yes, Jupiter in 10th house can be spiritual. Like for example in Sanjay Rath, Pandit Sanjay Rath, Siddhamsa, we had the same thing. We had Gemini rising and Lagna in Gemini and Jupiter was in Meena. So we said astrological knowledge. But that was activity related to knowledge and this is overall activity because this is a different chart. But you could use the same logic. For all you know, based on this chart, it could be an astrology spreader also. It could be a Vedic knowledge spreader. It can be a highly spiritual person. It could be a Pitadhipati of some kind of religious Pitham. Possible. But Jupiter is in which god? Under the influence of which god? Actually it's not god, it's goddess. And the goddess is Nirriti. So what does that show? Nirriti is godlessness, irreligiousness, and also fear, etc. But also turning a new page, basically overcoming, breaking the barriers, just like Rahu. That can also be shown by Nirriti. So here, because Jupiter is in Nirriti Samsara, religiousness, spirituality is ruled out. This is somebody who is respected because of Jupiter, somebody who is probably a teacher or a judge, but somebody who works into something that people normally don't work into. And he basically breaks some barriers in some activity. And also let's look at Sun, because when Jupiter and Sun are together, even though this is Jupiter's own house, Sun will dominate too. Because if a king comes to a priest house, Jupiter is like priest, Sun is like king. If the king comes to a priest house, who will take orders and who will give orders? It is still the king. King is king. So, because irrespective of which house Sun is in, he will have a role in that house. So, this is a teacher, but there is lot of influence of Sun on his career. So, let's see Sun. We said that he overcomes, he is very brave, he brings lot of determination, and he deals with lot of politics, etc. at the university. But in addition, what is the Amsha of Sun? Which is the ruler, deity who rules the Amsha of Sun? Sun is in Vayu's Amsha. And what did I say about Vayu? Gaining strength, giving strength. So this chart belongs to Amartya Sen. I don't know how many of you are familiar with him. He won Nobel Award, Nobel Prize for Economics. He was an economics professor and he worked for the upliftment of the downtrodden. In poor countries, he did some studies on the downtrodden people in the poor countries and economic policies which will result in gains for those people. So that's the research, that's the kind of research he did. And what he did is very novel. It's like breaking the barrier, just like Niruti shows. Normally, Niruti could also show underground mafia kind of work. That is also Niruti's domain. But here the planet is Jupiter. Had it been Rahu in Niruti's Samsa, you would right away say he would be a thug. He belongs to mafia. But here, because Jupiter is in Niruti's Samsa, what you would say is, this is a learned person who is engaged in some neglected work that is normally not considered godly work. So that is basically what it is. So Niruti can also show good and bad things. So that is what you have to understand. Based on the sign and the planet associated, Niruti can also show good things. Here, Niruti shows good things. Excuse me.
So, question.
Yeah.
Why is
And actually, let me finish one thought. A planet in Niruti Samsa can also show wrong things because that is demon-like thing. So for all you know, some of his knowledge could be total nonsense. Based on the chart, I don't know economics, I don't know his researches. He is a very well-known person with Nobel Prize. But what the chart shows is, some of the knowledge could be just downright nonsense. It could be demonic knowledge, wrong, misled knowledge. Yes, Kiran.
cursory look at the Prashant, initially I thought it was a quality.
You are supposed to make more than cursory look, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, first sight at
Because we've been talking about it for 5 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, looking at Mars and Sun in the sense of I thought it was a politician. So
Yeah, but Jupiter you ignored. If the Jupiter Parvatna was not there, had it been just Sun and Mars in the 10th house, then Sun and Mars. So it will clearly be a politician. Now there is some politics in his career. At the university, I don't know what happened at the university is very hard, but I'm sure there was a lot of politics, documented or undocumented, based on the chart. He must have dealt with a lot of politics. But the thing is, the important point is Mars and Jupiter have a parivartana, they exchange houses. So Mars behaves like Jupiter. So this is not Sun and Mars. This is Sun and Jupiter. And Jupiter is in one house. That is why he became a teacher. Otherwise, had Jupiter been some other house, Libra for example, this person would have been a politician. So now even though he has some political inclinations and probably dealt with some politics, he is basically a professor, known as a professor.
when you say politics in regular
Power play.
okay, or is it actually the statesmanship that we're talking about?
Sun could be statesmanship also, especially in Pisces because it's a Sattvic sign. It could be statesmanship also, but it could be politics too. Especially why I am saying it is, if it's only Sun, it doesn't have to be downright politics. It could be some statesmanship kind of thing also. Because Sun is king. But Mars is a fighter. And here Mars is involved. Jupiter is in the 10th house because of Mars. Because of the Parivartana with Mars. And Mars is the planet of killing. He is the soldier. So, he not only participated in some power play and became a statesman in his university, but he probably did some politics also. Like suppressing some people, etc. He must have done it based on the chart. So, that is the answer to your question. So, bottom line is, when you look at a house, don't stop there. See if there is a parivartana. Whenever there is a parivartana, exchange the planets in your mind and then analyze the chart. You will get better results. Otherwise, it's tough to guess that this is a teacher. Of course, still Jupiter owns the 10th house and aspects it. So still you can guess. But because Sun and Mars are there, honestly, had Jupiter been somewhere else, I would have guessed this is the chart of a politician. A respected politician because of Jupiter. But now he is a political teacher, not a respected politician, but now he is a political teacher. Slightly politically oriented, respected teacher. The role has reversed. Question?
No.
Any questions?
He is involved in society.
Yeah?
That's why that politicalness has come into picture.
That is also possible. Sun doesn't necessarily show politics at the university. Even though Meena being the sign, it could be politics at the university. But in a larger sense, Sun also shows a lot of political activity in a society. What kind of political activity? Trying to become the president of India, trying to become a senator or a member of parliament. Is it that kind of political work? Sun is in Vayu Samsa, not in Indra Samsa. So it's not the kind of politics that he is engaged in. He is relating to giving strength to some people. So he was involved in politics relating to upliftment of the downtrodden. So that is basically what it stands for. So just because Sun is involved in the 10th house of a person, don't jump to the conclusion that it will be a politician. It can be a politician, but there are other variations of it. And using this deity, you can get better sense. Okay. Now, let me go to another chart. For those who are listening to the audio on the internet, the data is July 25, 1961, 5:07 p.m. Indian Standard Time IST, 75 East 50 and 22 North 44. Okay. I will go back to Amsa rulers and let's look at this Dasamsa. So, let's first guess what kind of career this person had. What is the 10th house? First let people answer one basic thing. Is he a businessman or is he a service person? Service person, why? What are the houses you should see? The 6th house. From 10th house is the karma, but to see whether, because even if you are a businessman, you will have some karma. But 6th house is specifically the house of overcoming obstacles. So, what you have to see is 6th house and 7th house. 7th is desire and 6th is overcoming obstacles. So, based on which is strong, you see whether he is a businessman or a service person. And this is only a thumb rule. It doesn't work always. It works only maybe 70% or 80% of the time. And here, from Meena Lagna, the 6th house is Leo. It is empty. And the 7th house of desire is Venus, Saturn and Rahu. So that there are 3 planets there. And what is really important? Out of those 3 planets, who is Saturn? He is the 11th lord. From Meena Lagna, Saturn owns 12th house and 11th house. So 11th is another Kama Trikona. The 7th house is important for business because it is Kama Trikona. 3rd, 7th and 11th houses are Kama Trikonas. So Saturn, an owner of a Kama Trikona, has gone into the 7th house. That makes it even stronger. And then Venus, even though he also owns another Kama Trikona. What Kama Trikona does Venus own? But what are the houses Venus owns? From Meena Lagna, 3rd house, and what is the other house Venus owns? 8th house. So forget 8th house. Concentrate on the 3rd house. 3rd house is a Kama Trikona. So 3rd lord and 11th lord are joining in the 7th house. So the 2 Kama Trikona lords, the culmination point and the seed, they are joining in the actual desire house. So does it mean he has a strong desire in his karma? Whatever karma he does is guided by a lot of desire. That means he is not happy working for somebody doing something very limited. He wants to do something. He has a desire, strong desire to do something. And usually people who have a strong desire, they do something on their own. So that is the logic behind 7th house showing business. So here, clearly this is the chart of somebody who has his own business. Right? And another thing you have to remember, apart from the planets themselves and the houses they own, Venus is the Karaka for desire. In any chart, Venus is the Karaka for desire, period. So the Karaka of desire is also in the house of desire, with the other 2 Kama Trikona lords. So very clearly this is a person with strong desires relating to karma, and this is a businessman. Now,
Lagna Lord is in 9th house, so he's very independent.
Lagna Lord is in?
9th house.
Yes. But there is a Parivartana. But the point he made is if Lagna Lord is in the 9th house, see Lagna Lord Jupiter is in 9th house. The result given in Shastras for that is the person is very independent, because what is 9th house? Boss. It is the house of your, I said it's the house of Guru, Dharmasthana, and also it's the house of Guru, I said, in Siddhamsa. In Dashamsa, it is the house of your boss. The 9th house shows your boss. So, if the first lord is in the 9th house, that means you are your boss. You like to be your boss. So that means you will be very independent. So the result given by Shastras for Lagna Lord in the 9th house is the person is very independent. So not only is this person strong, does this person have strong desires, but he has independence. He has the spirit of independence. So very clearly this is a businessman. And what's more, the 7th Lord, Mercury, where is he? In the Karma Sthana. The only planet who is in Karma Sthana, 10th house, is the 7th Lord. So he takes all his desire to his karma. He does karma relating to the desire, and Mercury has Argala also. If you look at Mercury, he has Argala, 4th house Argala on the 7th house. So when a house gets Argala from its own Lord, the house is really strengthened. The Lord, he is not only in charge of the house, he not only has access to the resources of the house, but he is in a position to contribute. So when your boss, he is able to contribute to your project, the project will be more successful. So Mercury's Argala on the 7th house, that also shows good business, karma related to business. So this is a businessman. Now, another thing, Mercury himself actually shows business. Mercury, if you look at what Kerry's different planets show, Sun shows politics, he also shows doctors, Mars shows soldiers, policemen, Jupiter shows teachers, judges, respected people, religious people, Ketu shows religious people, spiritual people who are detached from the material things, very, very spiritual people, who don't care about material benefits, like ascetic people, sadhus, those are Ketu. Rahu shows terrorists or more than terrorists, people who do underground things, and also people who innovate. That is what Rahu shows. So like this, there are different planets show different things. And Venus, we said, shows entertainers, etc., dancing girls, those Venus shows that. And here, it is Mercury. And what Mercury shows is either somebody who is intelligent and analytical and logical and uses that analytical ability in career, which means people who, mathematicians, engineers, especially software engineers, computer engineers, those are shown by Mercury. Mercury also stands for speaking and knowledge. So he also shows speakers and people who are in journalism. Those are shown by Mercury. And in addition to this, he shows traders. People who trade, who do business. So Mercury also shows businessmen. Because I don't know how many of you remember, but we gave the Varnas, the castes of the planets in the 2nd class. And do you remember who are the Vaishyas? Mercury and Moon. Jupiter and Venus are the Brahmanas, Sun and Mars are the Kshatriyas, Shani, Rahu, Ketu are the Shodras, Moon and Mercury are the Vaishyas. They are the traders. Vaishyas are basically traders. So Mercury, he shows trading. So very clearly, looking at all the indications, it is crystal clear that this is a businessman. Right? Now, what is Mercury's Amsha? Who is the god who controls Mercury in this Dasamsha? Look at Mercury's Dasamsha. The god is Kubera. He is the god of money. So his karma, all his desires and all his karma, all his trading, business he does, this is all guided by money. He wants to make money. So everything fits perfectly. This is the chart of a businessman. Somebody who's in business, who's always in business. Of course, when somebody starts his career, he may work for some time. So even though the 6th house is not strong, it will give his results. So during a particular dasha, he may work for a company. But at a very young age, this person will start his own business. And he indeed did. And now, we've been looking at Artha-trikonas and Kama-trikonas to see whether what job this person has, what kind of desires this person has, and so on. Yes?
Can you just leave the door open, kind of?
That's fine. So you can leave it open.
Okay. So, apart from that, the Dharma Trikona defines who you are. Whatever you do, you basically also have a Dharma to follow. I may be my Artha, the purpose I am serving in society, may be writing some code that goes into a DVD player or a video conferencing system. I may be writing software. But there may be other dharmas that I follow, like teaching astrology, spreading astrology knowledge, understanding astrology. So that will also be seen from my Dasamsha. But more than Artha-trikona or Kama-trikona, It may be seen from those also, because I am serving my purpose in society. I have some desires in society to spread this knowledge. So you will be able to see my astrological activities in my Dashamsha from Artha Trikona and Kama Trikona also, but Dharma Trikona is even more important, because I am doing it from my sense of Dharma. So Dharma Trikona is also important. In other words, in every chart, every house is important. But we have been concentrating on some houses because we want to see certain things. But if you want to see who this person is, what are his activities in society, look at Dharma Trikona also. That defines this person, his abilities, his Dharma. And now, if you look at Dharma Trikona, actually that is quite strong. Lagna has Mars and Ketu. Which houses do Mars and Ketu own? Mars and Ketu together own the 9th house, Scorpio. So, Scorpio Lord, 9th Lords are in Lagna. And where is Lagna Lord? Jupiter. He is in 9th house. So, there is an exchange. So, the results will be like Mars and Ketu are in the 9th house, and it is like Jupiter is in the 1st house. So, Jupiter in the 1st house. I haven't defined Mahapurusha Yogas. There are 5 Mahapurusha Yogas. They create great people. Mahapurusha means great person. They create great persons. The Yogas are, take the 5 planets other than Sun and Moon. They actually stand for Panchabhutas. The planets are Jupiter, Mars, Mercury. I am not writing in any specific order, the order I remember. And this yoga is called Hamsa. And actually in the software, if you say strength, and if you go to other strengths, in this area, all the yogas in this chart are given. You can change the Varga. From Rasi, you can go to Dashamsa, and then the software will give you what yogas are there. But it is good to understand the definition. The yogas are Hamsa Yoga for Jupiter, Ruchaka Yoga for Mars, Ruchaka, Bhadra Yoga for Mercury. Actually, I'll give a handout in the next class which contains this list, so you don't have to write it down. Venus will give Malavya Yoga. Saturn gives a yoga called Sasha Yoga. And the definition for these yogas is that particular planet who gives that Mahapurusha Yoga should be in a quadrant, not a trine, should be in a quadrant which shows effort. And then it should be either exalted or in own house or in Mula Trikona. So if the planet is basically strong, Mula Trikona, exaltation or own sign, in a quadrant, then that planet gives Mahapurusha Yoga. So here, even though Jupiter is not in a quadrant, because of the Parivartana, Jupiter acts as if he is in Meena, in Lagna. So there is not a perfect Mahapurusha Yoga, but there is a kind of Mahapurusha Yoga. And there are different results given for different Mahapurusha Yogas, which are based on the nature of the planet. And I will define them in the next class in more detail. But for now I will say that Hamsa Mahapurusha Yoga, Hamsa is basically, it stands for purity. Because it is given by Jupiter, this will be somebody very pure, very pious person, very respected person in society, and who spreads Dharma in the society. So this is a very auspicious yoga. So even though this person is a business-minded businessman, he has Hamsa Yoga. So this will be somebody very pious, somebody very religious also. And what is more, look at the Amsa of Jupiter. Jupiter is not only in Lagna, because if Jupiter is in Lagna, it is somebody respected. It can be a teacher also, not necessarily a religious person. But which Amsa is Jupiter is in? Which God controls Jupiter in this chart? Ishana. And another thing, what are the houses that Jupiter exchanges with? He is in first. He gives the results of 1st house because of the exchange with 9th Lord. Again, the house involved is 9th house of Dharma, of religiousness. So you see that theme repeating again. And Ishana is the deity of religiousness. So very clearly, this person is a very pious and religious person. He does his business, but he does not hurt people. He is very religious, and he has a parallel activity. Apart from his business, he has a parallel activity of spreading religiousness. Why spreading religiousness? Why did I say spreading religiousness? Because if you are spreading something, it is a 10th house thing, not Lagna thing. Lagna is who you are. Jupiter in Lagna will show who you are. He is a very religious person. Because I said that because Jupiter also owns 10th house. The 10th house Sagittarius is owned by Jupiter. And Jupiter owns it, so he will give some results relating to that. So he is not only pious and religious, but he may be actually doing something in society relating to that. He may be doing some religious work in the society. This chart, yes.
So the type of business here is shown by Mercury.
Yes.
So that means
Well, if you want to see the type of business, see Mercury and see the argalas on Mercury. The 7th house shows the business. The 7th lord Mercury shows the consciousness of business. That means how he applies his intelligence to his business. So that is important for seeing what kind of business he has. And to see further, look at Mercury and see the influences on him. First of all, it is Mercury, so it can be something relating to analytical ability, math, etc. And the other planets who have argala on Mercury are Mars and Ketu have argala on Mercury. Computers, good. Electronics, hardware. Mars and Ketu will show hardware. So even though the planet is Mercury, because of a strong argala from Mars and Ketu, they have a Rashi Drishti as well as argala. So because of that, Rashi Drishti makes it permanent, not at a particular dasha. So always he was doing some hardware related business, building some specific hardware, building some custom high-tech hardware. So that he was in that kind of electronics business. And he was a businessman who sold a company and then he started another company. He may sell that company and he is now in his third company. He has his third startup. So that is basically the person. The name will be anonymous. It is somebody, it is a technocrat, a very learned technocrat who is a businessman. And also, he is a Jain teacher. He is not only a businessman, but he is a Jain by religion and he is a Jain teacher. And he stressed Jainism to young Jains in America. He is very active in the Jain community, spreading the teachings of Mahavira, Lord Mahavira and other Jain teachers. So you can see that he is Jupiter in Ishanamsha and Mercury in Kuberamsha. Both are associated with the 10th house. So he wants to make money. It's not like he's a ascetic or sadhu. He wants to make money. In the business, instead of selling the company for $5 million, if he gets $6 million, he will get $6 million. He will haggle for that. He's very, very money-minded. Yet, he wants to help people and he wants to be very religious. He does yoga, he teaches yoga and also he teaches Jainism to people. So he balances both the aspects of his life. So with that example, I will, yeah.
How do you think this, can you go to the argala on Mercury?
Yes.
You said,
Mercury is in the 10th house. He shows some material activity, material karma, probably some business. And if you want to see the influences, the decisive influences, what kind of business? To see that, see the planets who have argala on it. So what are the argala sthanas?
2, 4 and
2. So from Mercury, if you count 2, 1, 2. So this is one argala sthana, Capricorn. 3, 4. This is another argala sthana. I am seeing from Mercury. So in order to see argala on Mercury, you see from Mercury. In order to see argala on some other planet, you see from that planet. If you want to see argala from a particular house, you see from that particular house. Okay?
So what is the influence, what is the extra influence of 11th house argala on the Mercury? Because Jupiter...
There is nobody there.
11th is Jupiter is there. Not
That is 12. You are thinking in terms of computers, 0 to 11. It's actually 1 to 12. So Jupiter is in 12th house.
So Narasimhaji, when we see this type of business, we saw that, okay, looking at argalas is the first thing, but do we not look at Sagittarius somehow, but the house Mercury is in?
Yeah, you can look at that also. Okay. But
preference would always be to look at the argala?
No, but further let me finish the thought. Mercury is the consciousness of his desire. His business, the intelligence applied to his business. But the actual business is the 7th house. If you want to look at the place, that is basically 7th house. So in that case, instead of looking at the 7th Lord's Rashi, look at the 7th house Rashi. That is more important. More than the 7th Lord's Rashi, 7th house Rashi is more important. Because we are talking about Rashi, so why not look at the house itself? So what is the 7th house? Virgo. So his business is relating to Virgo. What is Virgo? A Mercurian sign. And Virgo shows intelligent people. Virgo shows intelligent, analytical type of people. So his business is basically relating to his hardware business, it has a lot of nice intelligent designers who are doing always doing the design. So it's basically relating to some intelligent things, some analytical things. That's what Virgo shows. And what Sagittarius shows is, Mercury, he shows how he applies his consciousness. So what Sagittarius shows is, when it comes to actually doing his karma, this is not necessarily business. For business we saw the 7th house. Just doing his karma in society, it is Sagittarius-like. What is Sagittarius? It is the dharmasthana of the natural zodiac. Sagittarius is the 9th house of the natural zodiac. Natural zodiac means starting from Aries, like we said in other class. So there is some dharma. Whatever karma he does in the society, there is some dharma that he follows. That is what that shows. And also Sagittarius is a fiery sign, Agni Rasi. So that means he does it with lot of fire. So you can look at the Rasis also, but the Argala, it is the Argalas that are really decisive. Whenever you are looking at any particular thing, look at the Argalas, and those Argalas will decide what is the nature of that particular thing. So from Mercury you see business. From the Argala of Mars and Ketu you see it's a hardware business. And then from the Ansya of Mercury, you see what is the motivation, what is the guiding principle. And the guiding principle is money. Okay? With that, with this chart, we will finish for today. We will look at more Dashamsha examples and look at a few more divisional charts like Navamsha, Dvadashamsha in the next class. And the next class will be again 9 o'clock, the same place, next Sunday. With that, I will end for today. Have a great week. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sorry.